Welcome to the December 18th, 2020 video version of the Wagner Daily. My name is Rick Petticelli, and once a week this video replaces the written commentary portion of our nightly report. Hopefully it serves as a nice change of pace, as well as offers some insight as to how we set up our charts, what time frames and indicators we use. First up, we're going to run through a few broad market averages, then we'll cover positions in the model portfolio, and finally we'll take a look at potential setups over the next few days. First up is the Ibd50 Etf, which is a growth stock ETF, FFTY. And since the majority of stocks we trade in the report are growth stocks, this is an ETF we monitor closely. And as you can see on the daily chart on the left, it's broken out above range highs. And as we can see versus the S&P 500, which cleared range highs several weeks ago, and the NASDAQ composite, it has been lagging, but now it's finally picking up some steam. And you can see over the past 2 weeks that the RS line has also gone vertical. And more importantly, on the weekly chart, this week's price action is a breakout to new highs. After a year's worth of chop and 2 to 3 months of tight price action at the all-time high. So FFTY was up 1.4% today versus the S&P, which was up 0.6, and the NASDAQ up 0.8. If we see here, the S&P had a normal pullback, and now it's set a new swing high, holding above the rising 5 and 10-day EMAs in trend mode. Same goes for the NASDAQ, just a normal 2 to 3 bar pullback, reclaims the 5-day EMA and sets a new high and is clearly in trend mode. And just a quick reminder that to remain disciplined with your trading, avoid being sloppy with entries, and follow the trade plan. Let's run through current positions in the model portfolio. First up is Snap, which we're long from an entry around 42. So we're currently up about 26%. And for those who like to sell into strength, if the price action breaks beneath the 1217 low and the 5-day MA, that could be a partial sell signal. And the break of the 10-day EMA beneath 5029 could be a signal to sell the rest if the goal is to sell into strength. If you want to take a bit more patient approach, one could sell partial size on a break of the either 5 or 10 MA, and then sell the rest on a break of the 20. There's no right or wrong answer there. It's just a matter of what personal preference is for trading. Some traders like to take profits a bit sooner than others, and that's totally fine. So EXPI, we're up about 21% from our entry, which was over the handle, over the pattern high. It's in pretty good shape, riding above the 5-day EMA. Etsy, we're up about 18% from our entry at 159 on 12.4. So right around here. It's almost 20% above the 20 EMA, so a bit extended. And we'll see how it acts as the 5 EMA catches up. Reggie, we're long from entries from an average price of 62.50, so right in here. And it's up about 17% from average price. And this is a nice base breakout. Volume was good. Trying to resume its uptrend after a 1-day pause. Looks pretty good. No reason to sell yet. Twilio just starting to move out after a 2-day pause on light volume. Looking very good. We're up about 15% from our entry point, which was around the 313 area. Then we have AMD, which we're long from 87.88. That's an average price, so around here. And it's up about 10%, and it's formed this bull flag-like pattern. Here's the shakeout, and then a quick bounce back above the 5 and 10-day EMAs. And we have KC with a nice reversal today. For shorter-term traders, maybe a break of today's low would be a signal to exit KC, but we're up about 11% right now from our entry around 44.50. Then we have ZS, which is up about 5% from our original entry. We did add over these highs here. And what's interesting about today's close is that it's obviously off the highs, but if it were to open higher and hold this downtrend line and maybe chop around for a day or two, if it can clear Thursday's high, it could be off to the races and just explode higher, because this is a stock that gapped up to new highs and has been trading in an extremely tight range for the past 2 weeks. And it's just has explosive potential here. It could go on a big run. So I'm looking for the price action to hold above 186 and then chop around here and then just take off. CRWD, another gap up here on volume. Pulled into the 10-day MA. We're up about 4% from our entry, which was around 177. So right around here. The crowd has explosive potential. And it's been in base mode for several months and just gapped up on its breakout 2 weeks ago. So it's just starting its run. PDD, we bought after a false breakout and pulled back to the 20-day EMA. We're up about 3.5%, so nothing to do here. Trade's just starting to work out. Pins were long from the 71 area, right around in here. And it just failed to follow through. I mean, it's pretty tight price action. The high was set on 1029, and the price action's just been trading in a very tight range for several weeks now, just above that high. So at some point, if it can clear this 73 area, it could be off to the races. And the last chart is TXG. We're just about break even in this trade right now. It's looking pretty good. If it can break this downtrend line, could build some momentum. And then obviously if you can get over the handle high around 158, could be off to the races. This is a pretty looking weekly chart here. This is week 1, so this is week 8 of a pretty nice correction. All right, let's go over a few potential setups for Friday's session. Of course, we can go back to pins. If that can clear 73, it's been in a tight range for several weeks, so it has a lot of built-up energy there, so it could explode higher. DBX could be in play over this narrow range session on Thursday, looking for a quick pop. Obviously TXG, which we covered, if it can clear 154 or 155.60 and then 157 or 158, those are 3 potential entry points there. FUTU is interesting because it's pulled back to the prior base high, pulled back to the 20-day EMA, which it's basically held. And it wasn't a pretty close on Thursday, but these type of closes are interesting, especially if the price action holds above Thursday's low. It may just chop for a day or two and then rip, or it could possibly gap higher on Friday and then take off, especially if it clears Thursday's high. PTON could be in play over the highs of this base, has yet to form a handle. It's just straight up from the 50 MA. And for swing traders, U, which is in a strong uptrend, pulled back to the 20-day EMA, cleared the 2-day high, and failed to follow through. But if it can hold Thursday's low, it could be in play for a swing. Also in play for a pop is NET, and it's extended from its last base, but certainly in play for a quick swing trade if it can clear Thursday's high with the stop beneath Thursday's low. And we also have JMIA, which is in a really tight range at the highs. This was an NR7 type day here, so if it can clear the 2-day high, it could break out to the upside. And the last chart of the night is PLTR. And this is explosive stock here, rallied about 180%, pulled back about 38%. We'd prefer something under maybe 30%, but it's such an explosive move up that a 40% pullback doesn't even look that bad on this chart. A break of the downtrend line is probably what most traders are looking for. I think it's in play on Friday as it gapped above the prior day's high, and it held this downtrend line, held the 5 and 10-day MA. So it could be bought on Friday with a stop either beneath Thursday's low, or if you want to go a little bit lower to Wednesday's low, probably going to be closer to a 10% stop. But PLTR is definitely a stock with explosive potential. All right, that's a wrap for the video. Thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend.